Hello, everybody, and welcome to WarCrafters for... Is it really? Really? Oh my goodness. It's June 1st. We're in the time machine. 2025, Season 2, Episode 22. I'm Mayor Watt. I run ohmTown.com, and when my brain breaks, that's what it smells like. We're going to talk about 5 articles. Sentient AI isn't here. And we're going to talk about Off to Play Undertale, Paper Clay, Time to Beat increases, a gaming subscription, and Summer Game Fest 2025. All right. Just in case you missed it, I am Mayor Watt. I run ohmTown.com, and this is WarCrafters. We're running a little behind schedule, and I'm a little punch drunk. So let's get into this. This is the front page of ohmTown.com. It's what I use to manage my information overload. I basically aggregate a bunch of news into 6 main categories and 50 channels underneath it, 6 of which are turned into weekly shows. 1 is a daily show, and we're running a little late. But anyway, this is what WarCrafters looks like, and this is one of the new logos for the show. We're getting new higher resolution graphics for all of our channel art. So stick around. Hopefully you enjoy the show, and all of these shows are actually going to be going over to the YouTube and posted over there, but not on Twitch because, well, I'm not recording them live. I'm posting them after I record them. Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, this is a first article for WarCrafters, and which is a show about gaming. It's over at Mobile and Off. The surreal RPG that inspired Undertale gets a free prologue chapter right about, according to this, now. Now, this article was aggregated sometime between May 26th and 27th. Well, the news came in the 24 hours between 26th and 27th. So it says, even the greatest games of all time have their inspirations, and Undertale took the gaming world by storm when it was released in 2015. But even its most devoted fans may not have known about Off. Originally released in 2008, Off is a cult classic, and one that the person was blissfully unaware of, and thankfully fans of the Toby Fox masterpiece will be able to experience the game that inspired it now that Off has officially released a prologue chapter for no cost. The article is over at Vice.com, written by Sean Sakaki. Pardon me, Sean Sakaki. This is what it looks like there, folks. It looks like 8-bit graphics from 2008. I don't know. I never played it. It says here that they had the privilege and pleasure of diving into the prologue chapter, and they're really amazed by how wild Off is, how off the chain it is. It is off. Many people have Off inspired Toby Fox during the many parts of Off inspired Toby Fox during the creation of Undertale. In an interview with fan gamer /Off, he mentions that Papyrus and Sans were both inspired by many characters within this world, even after playing just a small portion of it, which covered Zones 0 and... Is it Zenless Zone 0? No. And 1, they can see it. The author says that they can see it. There's a lot more over here at this article. If you want to find out more about it, it says both games draw from Earthbound, but they couldn't be any more different. Both Off and Undertale are far more dark and sinister overall. You can go and download the demo right now. Next article is over in WarCrafters as well. Paper Clay is a cute, breezy platformer you can easily knock out in a weekend. I'm not really into that kind of breezy. You know, I want to play games like Dune that might have legs forever, or Arc Raiders, which I can't wait for it to be released. I didn't really like Helldivers 2. It felt weird to me, and everybody abandoned it at the exact same time, which is that just sucks. I started to get into it, but it's really not my bag. But I'm hoping that the world building around Dune takes me places. I don't know. I've been looking for my forever game, but I think I'm gonna be I won't be able to play it this year, but I'm hoping that I get to play Light No Fire this summer of stream. Anyway, solo dev YKev's Paper Clay is a charming 3D platformer with environments made of paper and cardboard. And in this short but sweet adventure, players control a chicken named Chick and his sidekick named Nugget as they set out on an adventure to rescue stolen eggs. So what is Paper Clay? You'll have to go over to Kotaku.com to really see what it looks like. But it looks like... what is that? The Chicken Little? Looks like a Chicken Little kind of a character. Billy Givens over at Kotaku.com put the article together. It's a Nintendo game, and I've got an embargo on Nintendo. So Paper Clay is a fairly brief little game that should take most players around 6 hours to see through its conclusion. Given its launch price of only $15, though, that ends up feeling like a pretty decent amount of content for platforming enthusiasts to sink their teeth into. I don't think so. I think this is a $10 game at most. Like other games of the genre, Paper Clay is also a collectathon with plenty of things to seek out in each of its levels. And if you want to collect every button, orb, and egg in Paper Clay, you will almost certainly need to play through various levels multiple times. And a few orbs in particular require you to have a lot of environmental awareness. You'll need to engage in puzzles such as flipping parts of the level to line up platforms and find items in the world. Says doing everything in Paper Clay can certainly increase your playtime by a few additional hours, possibly even double the amount of time you'd spend if you just played through it once. It's available for Windows, PCs, and with a Nintendo Switch version on the way, but unspecified as to when. Soon, TM. So the next article is over in the Wanted channel. The time it takes to beat video games has increased by 61%. These games take the longest, but come on, is that the point? Who plays Animal Crossing New Horizons in order to quote-unquote beat it? Yeah, I like to base build and collect stuff and maximize my skills, but I can never spend enough time, and it's a really painful disservice when I try and group up with people only to go, you know what, I gotta go. Anyway, Dasha Milden and Gail Cooper put the article together for CNET.com. And it says, games released in 2023 take an average of 56.2 hours to finish, while games released in 2024 take 66.2 hours. Both those averages are well above any other year in the past decade, the study says. So it's a new study by game site Solitaire, like solitary, but recently studied the games that take the longest time to beat and the time it takes to do so. And in just 2 years, the time it takes has increased by 61%. Just 2 years. I guess we're sitting around playing games a lot more. So Animal Crossing New Leaf and Animal Crossing New Horizons combined is almost 1,000 hours to 100% it. I don't know. So the main story apparently takes 62 hours in Animal Crossing New Horizons and 79 in Animal Crossing New Leaf. Path of Exile, it says 29, but you can play that forever and ever and ever. Payday 2, Persona 5 Royal. Persona 5, 101 hours. I figured that would be a whole lot more. So yeah, I like games. This does not take into account like base building, world building games. No way. Anyway, I barely really looked at that list, but the ones that I saw at the top, like Animal Crossing, I don't know, maybe grindy time. Let's keep going though. The next article is over in the Wanted channel. Having this gaming subscription feels like a secret weapon, and now it's available on Steam. It's the NVIDIA streaming service. Craig Donaldson over at pocket-lint.com put the article together. It says NVIDIA GeForce Now is now available on Steam Deck, allowing users to stream over 2,000 games in 4K 60 frames per second from various platforms like Steam and Epic Games. Your latency plays a bigger role in your actions when you have a streaming service because All that's going on is moving stuff from their server across the net to your browser. Basically, it's a browser app, and then you have to react. And so that telemetry takes time, milliseconds sometimes. Look at your ping and go, I don't know if this is going to be a pleasant experience. So NVIDIA has announced that its cloud gaming app GeForce Now is now available for the Steam Deck. At CES 2025, NVIDIA stated that this was in development, and just a week before the Switch 2's launch, it has finally released it for all Steam Deck owners. Yeah, it's basically a beefed up server, a whole bunch of servers that do all of the game compilation and then send you a stream of those games. It has 3 plans: free, performance, and ultimate. The ultimate offering is the most powerful gaming virtual PC for $20 a month. NVIDIA claims that the Steam Deck users will experience a 50% longer battery when streaming from an RTX gaming rig in the cloud versus in-house. Yeah, I can see that. That shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. All it's doing is browsing, really. It's receiving the frames. But I think they say something 60 frames, right? Yeah, 4K 60. All right. Well, our last article for today's WarCrafters is over in Technology Today. How to watch the Latin American Game Showcase at Summer Game Fest 2025. Summer Game Fest 2025 is just around the corner, and it'll be a weekend packed with video gaming news. The events kick off on June 6th, with roughly a dozen live streams scheduled to take place from then through June 8th. I'll be streaming as much as I possibly can. Among them is the Latin American Game Showcase, which will highlight over 50 titles from Latin American indie developers, and you can tune in to the YouTube stream on Saturday, May 7th at 2 p.m. I'm probably going to be ending up talking about all of this stuff because the game showcase is quite expansive. The Summer Game Fest is going. So Cheyenne McDonald over at Engadget.com put the article together. They have a link to all the info you need to know ahead of the Summer Game Fest, and will be on the ground getting some hands-on time with many of the games that you see featured in the showcase. So be sure to check in over at Engadget.com. But they'll have a YouTube stream, and a bunch of other stuff will be posted as we get closer. This is considered the first, so you've got roughly a week before everything. Well, this whole week, stuff is going to be dropping little bit by little bit. Like Dune just announced that it's going to be allowing for private servers, but I'm not really sure to what that end really is, because unless you're in the massive version of it with public servers, you don't have that whole world building dynamic and conflict. It's just going to be you up against all of the rest of the houses, but it's all AI unless your friends are taking the other side. I don't know. That said, I am ready here. I am ready for it. I am here for it. Cannot wait until later this week. So I am going to tune in the Main Street WarCrafters channel over at ohmTown.com. Go and check it out. Become a citizen. Hang out with me here on Twitch and the YouTube every day. So, and more so during the summer stream. So the next 2 months I'll be streaming a whole lot more. I just wasn't able to over the weekend because we had a massive change of plans that impacted my mayoral duties. So I'll see you all in a little bit. Bye-bye. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Technology Today for June 1st, 2025. Wow. My brain. Anyway, it's season 2, episode 22. I'm Mayor Watt. I run ohmTown.com. My brain's a little frazzled today. Sentient AI isn't here. We're going to talk about 5 articles: multiple robots on the moon, most efficient solar cell, water treatment challenges, showstopper galaxy, and geopolymer technology. That and more. Powered by ohmTown.com. It's a news aggregation site. Doesn't have any ads. Doesn't cost anything for you to access. Go over, sign up, check it out. Come and hang out with me and the Sentient AI every day, 7 p.m. Eastern. Usually mayoral duties kept me busy this weekend. Will definitely be impacting me next weekend as well. That's okay though. It's the summer of stream. All right. Let's get into this. I am in a time machine. This is the front page of ohmTown.com. I have to get through this so that I can get back to the future. This is the front page of Technology Today, and this is the current logo. We're going to be changing those. I've been saying that for every episode that we've done, or that I'm doing in the time machine today. So, multiple robots on the moon, huh? So there's a challenge of coordinating multiple robots on the moon. Frameworks are a critical, if underappreciated, component of any space exploration mission, and they can range from all over mission architecture, capturing scientific and technical data, goals, to the structure of messages sent between 2 internal components of a system. Well, this article is over at techexplore.com. Andy Tomaszwick from Universe Today put the article together. It's edited by Sadie Harley and reviewed by Andrew Zenon. One of the most interesting frameworks that is getting much attention in the space exploration community is the interaction of multiple robots for a single purpose, known as a multiple robot system, or MRS. On top of that, one of the most common frameworks for robots on Earth or in space is the open source robot operating system, emphasis on the wrong syllable. Anyway, ROS, which is commonly used to run everything from vacuum cleaners to giant mining trucks. In most recent iteration, ROS 2 even uses yet another framework known as middleware to handle aspects of robot communication such as networking and packetizing data. However, there are plenty of different middlewares to choose from for ROS, so a team of researchers from the University of Luxembourg decided to try to pick one that would best suit planetary exploration applications. I think it needs to be fast and freaking reliable and according to a mesh, basically. The most likely candidate for such solution is a networking system known as a mesh network. A traditional network has a central hub with all of the different sub-nodes talking to it, which handles the data-intensive processing and interfaces necessary to keep the network operating. On the other hand, a mesh network allows each node to talk to each one another, actually, without needing a central hub, and it has many advantages. It's much more like the internet, where if something happens that's catastrophic to the internet, data can wrap around. If the internet weren't being dicked around with by people that have an objective other than stability. Yeah. Anyway, so if one of the nodes goes down, the flexibility of finding the fastest way to get the data from one node to another is its objective in a mesh network. However, it does have the disadvantage of being computationally more intensive for each individual node and laggy compared to more, because basically the packet has to get somewhere. It has to be verified. That verification has to be sent back to the sending node so that everybody knows that everybody has got a packet, but only one destination location has received the packet with priority. But given the challenges in the network that a moving set of robots would experience while exploring extraterrestrial worlds, meshing seems like the best strategy. So in the Journal of Intelligent and Robotic Systems paper, the researchers decided to examine 3 different ROS middlewares to see how they would handle a mesh network similar to one that they would do on a lunar mission. So the 3 middlewares were Fast DDS, the most common default middleware, Cyclone DDS, which specializes in sending large messages, and Xeno, which specializes in dealing with unstable networks. I think they probably need a little bit of all of it. It needs to be fast. It needs to send large packets so that it can transfer large amounts of information, obviously, in a single go. And unstable basically is space. So we need the reliability and the success and speed. So I think it all works together. Maybe composite those together. Measuring the performance of each middleware would involve calculating 5 variables: whether or not all the robots were reached, how much overhead the network utilizes, and how long it takes for a message to reach its intended target, and the overall utilization of the CPU on the robot and RAM. So overall, the experiment described in the paper is a step toward coordinating robots that work in concert on another world. Let's keep going. The next article is over in Technology Today. International research team builds world's most efficient organic solar cell. I don't really like anything organic in technology because it's going to keep breaking down at a rate that's different. It's kind of like what happened with DVDs, Blu-rays. They broke down over time because they were organic. Scientists created a safer, high efficiency all organic solar cell using a new electrode and lamination technique, achieving 8.7% power conversion, more than double past models. As global initiatives to mitigate climate change accelerate, the demand for solar energy continues to rise. However, conventional silicon-based solar panels, which currently dominate the market, contain a variety of hazardous materials. They're a nightmare to recycle. Kanazawa University over at scitechdaily.com put the article together. Yeah, similar concerns apply to emerging film-type solar technologies such as perovskite solar cells. Although promising in performance, these next-generation cells also incorporate potentially toxic components, including lead compounds, metal oxides, raising further concern about long-term stability, sustainability, and safe disposal. The all-organic solar cell, despite their environmental advantages, all-organic solar cells currently suffer from low power conversion efficiency, or PCE, reaching only about 4%, but this new one reached 8.7%, significantly lower than the greater than 27% for silicon and 26% for advanced perovskite cells. But those are silicon have a lot of toxic issues, and perovskite is hard. The material necessary to make it is difficult now. So they found a breakthrough in an all-organic solar cell efficiency system. Masahiro Nakano, associate professor from Institute of Science and Engineering, Faculty of Chemistry at Kanazawa University, has collaborated with scientists from Raiko Company Limited, Junichi Iwa, president, and Queen's University in Kingston, Canada, and now successfully developed all-organic solar cells with the world's highest efficiency. Great. Organic electrode ink. Okay. I don't know. This is going to be kind of hard. It had 2 major problems that previously hindered the performance of all organic solar cells. First, the availability of highly conductive organic transparent electrode material suitable for film-type solar cells is limited, and some high-conductivity organic materials have been reported, but their preparation requires strong acids, bases, or high-temperature annealing, which would damage organic substrates. So heat is the bane of everything, and in a solar cell, it's generating heat in and of itself, just sitting there baking in the sun. The second challenge lies in stacking multiple layers within the film-type solar cell device without harming the layers underneath. In solution-based processes, the ink used for the upper layers can damage the underlying ones, and to address this, the researchers developed a lamination method using a carbon nanotube electrode, which allows for the addition of layers without compromising the integrity of those below. So combined, they figured out a way to raise the efficiency to 8.7%. All right, the next article is over in Technology Today as well. Next generation materials offer integrated solutions to water treatment plants. This article is over at Tech Explorer. It's written by the National Research Council of Science and Technology, but edited by Sadie Harley and reviewed by Robert Egan. This new purification process removes harmful substances, including phosphorus, which causes green algae and disinfects microorganisms such as total coliform. Phosphorus is an essential component in domestic and industrial waste, including fertilizers, detergents, animal manure, but when it remains in the water, it causes algae blooms. in rivers and lakes that you're used to. But and like this actually causes issues in whatchamacallit, aquaponics, hydroponics. So a research team led by Dr. Jae Woo Choi and Dr. Kyun-jin Cho of the Center for Water Cycle Research at the Korea Institute of Science and Technology, KIST, K-I-S-T, has developed a new water treatment material that can recover phosphorus in a short time with high efficiency and disinfect harmful microorganisms at the same time. The work was published in the journal Advanced Composites and Hybrid Materials. So the team utilized a sea urchin-shaped nanostructure to achieve world-class phosphorus recovery performance, and the developed material can recover about 1.1 kilogram of phosphate per kilogram of material in just 5 minutes, which is extremely fast and efficient compared to existing technologies. The new materials and technology developed are applicable to a variety of water treatment environments, including sewage treatment plants, water purification plants, livestock, and industrial wastewater treatment sites. In particular, it's possible to simultaneously remove algae-causing substances and recover resources at industrial and agricultural sites with high concentrations of nutrients such as phosphorus. Brilliant. So it can stop runoff if all of the runoff is captured. Let's keep going, though. The next article is over in Technology Today. This galaxy is a showstopper, but the real twist is nearby. I'm going to go straight on over to the source. ESA Hubble put the article together. It's posted over at scitechdaily.com. So taking stage is in the Hubble Space Telescope image is a stunning spiral galaxy called NGC 3507, located about 46 million light years away in the constellation Leo. The celestial beauty is classified as a barred spiral galaxy. Its graceful arms don't spiral out from the center as you might expect. Instead, they stretch from the ends of a bright central bar made of stars, giving it a distinct and eye-catching structure. Dun-dun. So I guess right there. This is one bright ass star right there. Anyway, NGC 3705, a spiral beauty in the Leo constellation, steals the spotlight while its galactic partner remains just out of frame in the stunning. Just out of frame. So where is it? Okay. So although it looks like a solo act here, NGC 35 is actually part of a galactic pair. Its companion, NGC 3501, lies just outside the frame of the image and appears in a previous Hubble feature. See below. I don't know. What, down here? So this is really fascinating because there is a dark band that goes through the width of our galaxy, but it's all of this dust inside here, inside the core basically of our galaxy, is causing stars to be obscured. And using new astronomy technology, you can peer through it, and there are millions of stars inside this one galaxy, in our galaxy. It is amazing the hubris that people have to think that we are the only thing out here. Anyway, we're just too dumb to actually be able to find anything else. So for galaxies that are just a few tens of millions of light years away, NGC 3501 and NGC 3507 features like spiral arms, dusty gas clouds, and brilliant star clusters are on full display. More distant galaxies appear less detailed. So in addition to these far-flung companions, NGC 3507 is joined by a far nearer object marked by 4 spikes of a light, a star within the Milky Way, a mere 436 light years away from Earth. Now, that's a long distance, folks. But all of this is getting cut back dramatically in the hopes of saving money. But we'll see. We will see. Yeah. I don't know. I think that there's going to be a tremendous amount of damage done in the people that are chomping at the bit to stop spending or not even paying attention to everything that's taking place. Equipped with powerful cameras and spectrographs, the Hubble has helped measure the expansion rate of the cosmos, revealed the existence of dark matter or dark energy, and inspired both scientists and public with its breathtaking views of deep space. But can't even get into it. Anyway, astronomers use an instrument called spectrometers to split the light from these distant galaxies to study the nature of these objects in the early universe. This is a neat article and has some amazing pictures. Let's keep going to the next article, and this is the last one for today's Technology Today. Geopolymer technology turns recycled glass and construction waste into a durable and green construction material. With global population growth accelerating urban expansion, construction activity has reached unprecedented levels, placing immense pressure on both natural resources as well as the environment. So the cornerstone of modern day infrastructure, ordinary Portland cement, remains the most effective and commonly used soil solidifier, despite contributing substantially to global carbon emissions. So this article is over at techexplore.com, written by Shibura Institute of Technology, edited by Gabby Clark, and reviewed by Robert Egan. So alkaline stimulant, also referred to as earth silica, apparently allows for construction waste to be turned into durable and green construction material instead of using Portland cement. So at the same time, construction waste continues to accumulate in landfills, along with this issue about Portland cement. To tackle these interconnected challenges, scientists from Japan, led by Professor Shinya Inazumi from the College of Engineering, Shibura Institute of Technology, Japan, present a sustainable alternative, a high-performance geopolymer-based soil solidifier developed from siding cut powder, a construction waste byproduct, and earth silica sourced from recycled glass. This breakthrough innovation offers an alternative to reducing cement dependence while transforming construction waste into valuable construction resources. The paper is published in the Cleaner Engineering and Technology Journal. What? Trying to save the planet? So there's a quote here. This research represents a significant breakthrough in sustainable construction materials. By using two industrial waste products, they develop a soil solidifier that not only meets industry standards, but also helps address the dual challenges of construction waste and carbon emissions. They say a noteworthy aspect of the study was the approach to environmental safety. The solution offers numerous practical applications with wide-reaching real-world impact. I want to see the strength data of this thing. The findings point to transformative shift in sustainable construction practices, potentially transforming millions of tons of construction waste into valuable resources while reducing the carbon footprint. It just needs, the recycling needs to be cheaper than just digging out the planet. And that just doesn't work because you have to basically undo all of the contaminants from whatever it is you're trying to recycle. And it's not an easy thing to do. We work hard to contaminate all of the other stuff that we're trying to save. I know, it's weird. So we're going to mix a couple of geopolymers, and that's going to solidify our position here at the Technology Today front page over at ohmTown.com. But that means I am done. I've got to get out of here. The time machine is going to overheat. So I'll see you in a little bit, and be sure to click all of the links that are in the show notes over on YouTube and then in the podcast episodes. See y'all soon. Bye-bye. Oh, and don't forget, there is a podcast, there's a Discord, there's a Patreon, YouTube, ohmTown itself, and here on Twitch. We're all over the place. So see you in a little bit. Bye-bye. Hello, everybody, and welcome to FourWheelTech for June 1st, 2025. The time machine is messing with my head. It's season 2, episode 22 of FourWheelTech. I am Mayor Watt. I run ohmTown.com. The sentient AI is not available today, but I'm going to talk about HUDs are bad, okay? Chevy fidget vehicle, a Japanese sports car, the Citroen hydropneumatic suspension, first dots, now lines, new tires, get crazy. Hello again, everybody. Again, I am Merwat. Hope you enjoy the show. Don't forget to like and subscribe, leave a comment, tell a friend, download the podcast, watch all, I don't know how many, we're like 3,000 episodes. I don't know how many, we're losing track. We also stream every day at 7 p.m. Eastern on Twitch and YouTube, unless my mayoral duties keep me from doing the stream. And that's what happened on Saturday and Sunday, the 31st of last month and the 6th of this month. And so I'm playing catch up. I'm in the time machine. I'll catch up. You'll be able to download the podcasts probably tomorrow if you want them. There will be 6 individual shows for the individual 6 individual episodes for the shows, and then 2 composite shows for Non Sequitur News, which is our premiere show that runs every day. All right. Well, anyway, that's the front page right there. And this is the FourWheelTech page. So every show has its own page, but that's not where all of the news necessarily comes from. We're going to be given a whole new logo for FourWheelTech as well. Let's get into it. The first article is over in RealityHacker. Car HUDs, heads-up devices, or displays are bad. Jaguar Land Rover is testing tech to change that. With $5.3 million in funding and Meta's former AR boss on its team, All Focal Optics is looking to revolutionize the screens in car heads-up displays, and it's coming for smart glasses too. I could do that. The article is over at wired.com. Alistair Carlton put the article together. It says, well, I don't know if I'm going to be able to talk about it. Really depends. Whoa. No. We don't need to have a video about weapons playing while I'm talking about cars, for crying out loud. Anyway, the author is there to meet All Focal Optics, a startup that's patented a new type of nanophotonic lens that has the power to transform everything from virtual and augmented reality headsets to night vision goggles, binoculars, cameras, heads-up displays. It's that latter that piqued the interest of the author after hearing Jaguar Land Rover had embarked on a research project to discover whether the lens can improve car HUDs and with it, road safety. The problem with anything is looking away. The idea here is, and this is what I tell people when I give talks, we are driven by our eyes. So if you look in a direction, you're going to drift in that direction. You try and become cognizant of your drift and you overcompensate and you end up going somewhere else. So you basically have to pay attention. We can't multitask. We are unitaskers. We go in one direction. Wherever our eyes are pointing, that's where we go. Again, you can become cognizant of it, but you overcompensate, and it takes some pretty significant skill to keep you in line. So even if you require a significant prescription or suffer from astigmatism, it's makers of this new lens say that the lens beams a clear picture directly to your retina, bypassing the need for glasses entirely. In theory, 2 people could share the same AR or VR headset, even if one has 20/20 and the other one needs a very strong corrective lens. They tried several prototypes of the lens, and yes, it works. They don't wear glasses, so the first demonstration, viewing digital text beamed from a laptop to an augmented reality headset, didn't seem overly impressive, but then they repeated the test while wearing glasses so strong that they couldn't see their own hands in front of their face, and yet the digital text was still pin sharp. It's the sort of tech demo that takes a moment to truly appreciate it. So the text remains sharp regardless of what your eyes are actually focused on. They experimented with focusing first on their hand just a few inches away from their face, then on the other side of the room, yet the augmented text stayed in focus. Interestingly, its size adjusts depending on where you're looking. They can make it appear as a tiny font in front of their finger as a poster-sized writing on the opposite wall. It's also possible to look through it, focusing on the middle distance as you might while you're driving or something like that. So I really want to see this thing. I want to see how this works. It says it would be easy for anyone who has experienced nausea in virtual reality or VR sickness to imagine how the technology would help improve VR and AR headsets. VR, no, not so much, but AR, yeah. You don't get motion sickness or VR sickness in AR, though. In VR, it's because your eyes are telling you something different than your actual physical senses are. That is the disconnect, not whatever might be beamed into your eyes, but the simple fact that when you are walking downstairs in VR, you're not actually walking downstairs in VR. So your semicircular canals and gravity itself and your legs and your arms and your movements are not in line with the virtual reality. And that's what makes you sick. It's the same thing that happens on a boat. You can try to focus on the horizon, but you may or may not recover from it. You get seasick. VR sickness is identical to that, and you take the same thing for it. You can take medication to help you with motion sickness, or VR sickness, or seasickness, or whatever you want to call it. So with a slightly customized design, the technology will work for car HUDs too. Instead of just refocusing between the projected interface and the road, all you need to do is switch your attention, and that takes almost zero reaction time. Saretha says that they're the engineer. You can just switch between contexts without having to mechanically shift the ocular lens. That's a huge value add. Yeah, at some point we're not going to need it. It'll just be on our glasses or in our field of view, and nothing will change. It'll just get smaller and integrated into the tech, and that's really all that matters. With the new lens, the information projected from a heads-up display, things like speed, direction, and more importantly, a potential collision warning would always be in focus, so they could be read, processed, and acted. It needs to be a composite of sound and audio indicators, and it needs to be able to react fast. People are slow. So they say All Focus Optics isn't the only company with a better HUD in its sights. Porsche's new electric Macan features a HUD system with augmented reality where virtual hazard signs attach themselves to whatever danger they are warning the driver about, such as the vehicle you're following is too close. Audi's latest HUD places pigmented arrows on the road to help with navigation, and BMW first spoke about the potential for augmented heads-up back in 2011. There is a lot more in this article over at Wired, so go and check it out. I'm going to go on to the next article. And speaking of which, this next article is over in FourWheelTech, and it says Chevy put a fidget device in the Traverse by accident. So they say, I'm sure Chevy's implementation of a fidget device in the 2025 Traverse wasn't on purpose, but it works nonetheless. The article is by Andy Kolmowitz over at jalopnik.com, and pretty much the whole show kind of features Jalopnik news right now. So here's what we're working with. 2 small paddles on the back of the Traverse's steering wheel. Their real use is for controlling what gear you're in, which isn't exactly dissimilar to other vehicles with automatic transmissions. However, they're completely disengaged unless you hit the L button on the left spoke of the steering wheel. That little gear. That engages the paddles and lets you use them to gear limit your Traverse's 8-speed transmission. Its platform mates the Buick Enclave and GMC Acadia have similar setups, but who the hell cares about that? Basically, it's been turned into a fidget spinner. Their real unintended purpose is to be their fidget device. They put nearly 1,800 miles behind the wheel with these triplets, and have found themselves constantly clicking away at these tiny half paddles on the back of the steering wheel. It was happening so much that passengers in the car have asked what they're doing. Must have been some sort of subconscious action because they didn't even know that they were doing it. And that's pretty much what this whole article is about, that they've turned the little gear shifting paddles, which are referred to as paddle shifters, into a fidget spinner, turning the whole car into a fidget spinner. The next article is over in FourWheelTech as well. The best sports car Japan ever built is one that you've never heard of. If you've ever thought of a Lotus Elise that was too soft and heavy, then you need to check out the incredible Tommy Kyra ZZ. Brad Brownell over at jalopnik.com put the article together. It says, YouTubers you should know. Perhaps the author relates to Dino Della Carbonare, or Carbonar, because he's living his dream as a big guy with a beard and glasses fully engulfed in the Japanese car scene, or perhaps they just find the videos intriguing because he's digging into some of the coolest car stuff on the archipelago nation right now. So on the Dino DC channel, you'll see everything from his own Nakai-san real RWB called the Sunflower, and the latest from Liberty Walk to explorations of the Tokyo Auto Salon and drives in gorgeous vintage metal. So the best sports car Japan ever built is one that you've never heard of. Gran Turismo Real Life. What is it? So Dina's most recent video covers a topic that they could not be more excited to see up close and personal. Checking out the incredible Tommy Kyra ZZ, weighing just 1,400 pounds, powered by a 190 horsepower modified Nissan SR20 engine fitted with a quartet of Kian carburetors. There's a whole lot of good and not a whole lot of anything else when it comes to the original ZZ. Lightweight and revvy as the defining character of the car, which is totally right up their alley. So, and then they switch over to a Porsche video, but what the heck? I'll mute that. Obviously, I'm not logged into anything. So I guess this is the car right here. It kind of looks like a cross between a go-kart and a Ferrari. Maybe a Miata kind of a thing to it. You don't get much out of watching this other than beautiful landscape of Japan. So I'm just going to move on. The next article is over in FourWheelTech as well. Citroen's hydro-pneumatic suspension made ride smoother with a catch. Citroen built a signature suspension that provided a wonderfully smooth ride. Ultimately, though, there was a problem that it couldn't survive. The technology is hydro-pneumatic suspension, which discards traditional leaf springs and coil struts in favor of hydrodynamics, fluid dynamics. In brief, the system makes use of the fact that gas can be compressed, but a liquid can't. Each wheel connected to a liquid-filled piston. Each bump in the road would push the piston up into the gas-filled sphere. While the gas would compress, its pressure would increase as it did so, pushing the liquid back down again, and thus the wheel. That made for a legendarily smooth ride, vastly exceeding anything else on the market in terms of sheer comfort. But it was expensive, one of the business's least favorite things. The heart of the system is its spheres, which hold the liquid and the gas. The engine is used to pump in the liquid to the amount necessary to achieve the desired pressure. There's one sphere for each wheel, one to be a holding tank for the liquid, and in some cars, one to be a dedicated holding tank for the brakes. Why would you need one for the brakes? Well, in addition to being the suspension, this could also be used to operate the brakes as well as the clutch, gear change, and even steering. Tying it all together, because the liquid is being actively pumped in and out to keep the pressure from the compressed gas at the desired amount. The hydro-pneumatic system allowed for a wildly larger range of suspension firmness than any other system to date. But again, it was too expensive. Seems really complex. Citroen used in the early days a fluid that would rot the whole system if water got into it. And by the 60s, however, an improved chemical mixture eliminated this issue. Still, because the liquid was being pumped in by the engine, that meant horsepower could otherwise be used for speed instead of being used by the suspension, a problem that coil springs don't have. But the biggest issue with the hydro pneumatic was simply that it was expensive. Yeah. And if you can't overcome that, then it's dead in the water. And I also kind of hesitate about the frequency response of this system. It seems like it would be really heavy, and so it wouldn't be able to react to very bumpy roads, but maybe it could. That said, let's keep moving. The last article for today's FourWheelTech is, ever notice those colored lines on new tires? Well, we talked about the dots. What about these lines? Jordan A. Rodriguez over at jalopnik.com put the article together. You may not have noticed the colored lines on new tires because they rub off after a few days or even miles of driving. Tire manufacturers print these stripes on tires, but they aren't meant to disappear, or they're meant to disappear quickly. They're not meant for the consumer. It all comes down to a code used by the tire manufacturer to help the assembly line. Well, down the line. The stripes printed on the tire are part of a quality control system implemented by tire manufacturers, and their meaning varies depending on who's manufacturing the tires. Think of it as a barcode, and they can be used to denote the size of the tire, or its model, or even distribution. The colored lines are so important to avoid assembly errors and ensuring tire quality. These markings aid manufacturers. So here's the thing. The rubber used to form the tires comes from a slab of tread rubber manufactured to a specific width and thickness. Since thousands of... Why does that feel like it's moving? When I had it up here, it felt like this was actually moving a little bit. Anyway, that's why multiple stripes of various colors may appear around the tire circumference, and it's because thousands of flat tread slabs of rubber are made every day, and manufacturers need a system to make sure the kind of rubber is easy to identify. So chances are you'll never see them after you buy the tire. Dun, 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 because you'll just rub them all out. Anyway, so I'm going to hit the ground running, and we are done with FourWheelTech. So hope to see you on the road. Bye, everybody.